The topic is a can of peas, the velocity of money. And it probably some people are on the call probably just joined this call just to find out what the heck I'm talking about. And I get it. So imagine that you were a small business owner, right? I want you to sort of envision a small town, maybe near where you live, that has a small little convenience store, maybe not a lot of parking available. Maybe most of the traffic is coming from foot traffic, right? So maybe it's on a main street or nearby. And you know that when you want to run in and get something, typically it's a convenience store, not quite a 7-Eleven because that's pretty high traffic, but something on a smaller scale, a mom and pop convenience store, and you're the business owner. Now we have inventory, right? So we have all the traditional things that go in, but I pick a can of peas because it's something that a small business. Imagine again, and we're a convenience store, and one of the items in inventory that we decide that we want to stock is a can of peas. Now, obviously, real estate's short. We can't put it, everywhere. So we put it over in a section that we think that, hey, this is a good place for a can of peas. And you know what? Lo and behold, there was a cost to buy that inventory. The cost in our example is 50 cents. And let's say that we're able to sell it for 52 cents. So now return on capital investment, right? So you take your inventory, you take your the price that you sell it for, and then you divide, and we're able to get 2 cents net profit or 4% return on inventory. Now, the thing I point out here is who wouldn't like to get 4% today? Now, we might not want the headaches of a business and having inventory, but it is a pretty decent rate of return, right? And obviously, we still got to pay tax and all that stuff. But for example purposes, you go, okay, not too bad. Well, what if, I only sold that can of peas, one can the whole year, and I made 4%. Not bad, but I'm not retiring on that, right? So I do some reflection. I talk to my significant other. We come up with the idea, let's move the can of peas to the counter, so that everybody that sees or comes to the counter to check out sees these can of peas. And that relocation strategy actually increases turnover. And we're able to sell 4 times per year or 1 per quarter. Well, now when we look at that, we take our 8 cents profit because it still costs us 50 cents to buy the can of peas. We buy it, we sell it, we buy it, we sell it, we buy it, we sell it. We do that 4 times. Well, now we have a 16% rate of return on the same capital investment. That's pretty interesting. Well, we're so excited by the increased return on investment that we get the brilliant idea that we want to take these can of peas and we want to put them in the front window of our convenience store. So all the foot traffic that's walking past our store will say, you know what? I need a can of peas for dinner. And lo and behold, we're able to sell a can of peas a month. So 12 times a year at 24 cents a profit on the original 50% or 50 cent capital is a 40% return on the inventory. But if I can now turn around and sell it weekly, right? If I can get this to go just flying out the door, right? Now, once a week, that's $1.04 profit on that original 50 cent capital purchase. And that's a 208% return on inventory. And you go, all right, what is it that you're talking about? And that's velocity. That is, I've said this in the past when talking about other investments and compounding, right? But velocity is said to be one of the single greatest forces in the universe, right? Uninterrupted compounding, velocity. So when we can utilize and capitalize that in our strategies on a go-forward basis, we can make good decisions. But part of the reason for this call is because most of us on this call during our lifetimes have decided that we wanted to make money. But before I get into that, let's also understand what drawbacks are of being a business owner. So let's say that you own this business and you turn around and your significant other says, hey, listen, we need a can of peas for dinner. The question I have is, do we take a can of peas off the shelf, put it in our bag, and walk out the door? Or do I run it through the cash register? And the answer, although intuitive, we're like, I own the store, I'll just take it, right? But if we consume our capital, we lose our ability to earn a profit. So, and not only is it important that we as the store owners, check out through the register to make sure that inventory is accounted for and pay the price that we have on the price tags, but we also want to make sure that the employees see that. So that will minimize theft. And you go, well, what's that have to do with the price of tea in China? Well, two identical grocery stores side by side. So now your competitors across the street. And the competitor across the street turns around and he takes whatever inventory he wants off the shelf to eat dinner every day. And the question that we have is, who has a more profitable business? And the answer is the one who measures and registers what is sold. So now is the $1 million question. What's this have to do with money? Well, banks lend money for mortgages. And this is why I wanted to bring this to everybody's attention, because most people on this call probably at some point in time had a 30-year mortgage on their radar. And then somewhere along the way, as rates dropped, they went and secured a 10 or a 15-year note. So again, it's your money. I'm not here to tell you right or wrong. I understand not having debt. That's not the point here. The point is I want you to understand how banks make money. And the first part of the question is do you think that every bank makes the same amount on every type of loan that it offers? And the answer is no. Because if banks made the same amount of money on every type of mortgage that they offered, they would only offer one can of peas, right? One style, that's it. Everybody's got the same item. And you can go, whether you go to Walmart or you go to the convenience store or 7-Eleven, you buy the can of peas are all the same. But notice that there's a lot of different flavors and flair to the types of mortgages offered. And there's a reason why. But banks understand velocity, because what they understand right now, I just went on Google and I looked up and I said, hey, what's a 30-year mortgage going for right now? Just a simple 30-year mortgage, 3.458%. Let me just be really, really clear. We will never see rates this low again in our lifetimes. We just won't, right? We're just, they could continue to stay here, but they don't have the ability to go much lower. And now every channel talks about inflation, and that is coming. And as inflation comes, bond rates go up. 30-year bond rates are going to start to lend 30-year mortgages at higher interest rates. Now, what I wanted to point out to you, and hopefully this will be the aha moment for the people that are on this call. 20-year mortgage, notice that it's a little bit less interest rate. And so we're all taught interest is bad, get out of debt as quick as possible. 15 years, 2.52%, that's what I want. And I understand it. But here's what I want you to be the takeaway for today's call. After going over velocity, do you understand how banks at a 15-year mortgage, that's quicker that the money comes back into their register, that they're able to lend it out again. They're able to lend that same capital over and over and over at a quicker pace. You're actually helping the banks that they're going to lend to somebody else, maybe not to you, but to somebody else at whatever the interest rate is in the future, 4, 5, 6, 7%. When you hold the bank's feet to the fire at these low interest rates of 30 years, and you say, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Bank, you now have a contract with me that you must hold this note for 3.45% for 30 years. Do we think we can outperform that 30 years with alternative investments? And that was the purpose of today's call, to help you to understand, A, banks understand velocity, that there you understand turnover, that they want to get the mortgages, short to 10-year, 15-year, whatever it is that they want to do to help you to figure out your cash flow. But banks are not your friends. They have their agenda in mind, or their best interest in mind. And that all they're trying to do is take the money and get it right back out there, back into circulation at a higher interest rate. So velocity, so they can increase their rate of return on their overall investments. So that was the purpose of today's call. That's why a can of peas, maybe it's a little corny, but if nothing else, when you're talking about it at Thanksgiving and you're having peas, I want you to say, hey, I got a story for you. Or let's go over to the computer and you can share this, chat with Chris that I did and allow me to explain it. So, I want to thank all of you for being on here today. Again, we appreciate you. If you ever need us, please give us a call. We got the holidays coming up. It's a beautiful day. So make sure right now, enjoy the fall days.